We're joined now by Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of just two Republicans on the committee by the party's own choice, it should be said. Congressman Kinzinger, appreciate you being with us. Your colleague, Chairman Benny Thompson, has not ruled out a subpoena for former President Trump, saying tonight, quote, nobody is off limits to a subpoena from this committee. I mean, is that really realistic? Potentially a subpoena for him or even for Vice President Pence?
Yeah, I'm sure it is realistic. I mean, we're not going to jump to doing that immediately because obviously that's big. There's a lot of people that know a lot. But I'm going to tell you, I know the members of this committee. We've been meeting a lot. We're talking about these issues. We are determined to get to the bottom of what happened. I think what you're seeing with the potential criminal referral by Steve Bannon by the committee, hopefully if people misinterpret anything else, interpret this. We're serious about this. And anybody that is either being subpoenaed now or will be in the future, think twice before you reject a lawful order from Congress.
So, but I mean, in terms of moving forward to hold Bannon in criminal contempt, the committee is going to hold a business meeting Tuesday. What happens there, and what are the next steps after that? Because couldn't this just get tied up in courts for, and run out the clock on this committee?
Yeah, it certainly could. I mean, here's what happens. So we have a business meeting. We refer it out of the committee. It goes to the floor for a vote. We expect it would pass the floor. And that then is the referral to the Department of Justice. We expect that the Department of Justice will do their job and refer this to a grand jury. And we certainly hope they will. But that will be in the DOJ's hands. Now, keep in mind, really from a historical perspective, a subpoena from Congress is seen, in essence, as the equivalent of a subpoena from a court. And we know a lot of times there are people that ignore subpoenas from court, and they are held in criminal contempt for doing that. That's what we're doing here. A criminal contempt referral is nothing, frankly, crazy. It doesn't happen as much with Congress, but it is, in essence, within our power, and it is the right thing to do. And again, anybody that gets a subpoena in the future, look, all we want is the answer. If you're running from something, I mean, I think that in and of itself says something. But the American people deserve to know the truth. And even if they don't want to know the truth today, some folks want to put their head in the sand. What matters, I think, more than anything is in 10 years, what is the truth? What is understood? And I think that's why the work we're doing is so important.
I understand the committee agreed to short postponements of Kash Patel and Mark Meadows' appearance as they continue to engage with the investigation. The committee has also postponed a scheduled deposition of Dan Scavino. Can you maybe not be able to, but can you say why their depositions were delayed and how much more time they'll be given?
Well, let me just say generally what I can say, which is, as it's been reported, Dan Scavino was served just fairly recently. So you have to then go into a good faith effort with his attorney. Some of the others that we're engaging with have seemed to try to put up a good faith effort. Now, that could be a delay tactic. In fact, it quite very well may be a delay tactic. But it is important for us, I think, to engage in goodwill. But I'm going to tell you, our patience is not infinite. And in fact, if we start to sniff that this is, in fact, a delay tactic, I think you can expect, in essence, more of what you're going to see with Steve Bannon.
The committee subpoenaed Jeffrey Clark, the former DOJ official who was integral to helping then President Trump in his efforts to overturn the election. How important is he to your investigation? And do you expect him to cooperate? I mean, he was an official of the Justice Department. You would hope he would.
Yeah, I certainly hope so as well. Again, those are conversations ongoing. He can provide a piece to the overall picture, which may lead to further pieces. But I think, looking at, yes, that's going to be important. There's going to be more people that will be brought before this committee. We have people coming in and speaking to us voluntarily. And so we're getting a lot of information, and we're going to continue to turn over every stone, get every answer we can, so that we can put before the American people a true and an honest picture of January 6th, so that we can, whether somebody wants to believe it or not, prove once and for all that it was not peaceful, and frankly that this was not anybody but really a Trump-inspired insurrection.
From Mar-a-Lago, the former president puts out these statements every day to his supporters, which are riddled with lies. We normally don't even report on them. Today, he specifically referenced your committee and I kind of referenced you. I want to give you a chance to respond if you want. He said, I mean, it's so ludicrous, but the January 6th Unselect Committee, composed of radical left Democrats and a few horrible rhino Republicans, is looking to hold people in criminal contempt for things relative to the protest, when in fact they should hold themselves in criminal contempt for cheating in the election. It's
so powerful.
I mean,
I mean,
it's incredible.
I mean, look,
that this is the statement of a former president of the United States. It's amazing to me.
It's funny because when he started putting these things out like a few months ago, I literally thought they were parody. You know, it's like it's incredible. But look, I mean, it says a lot. I didn't know that statement was even out until you just told me. That's a former president of the United States, basically, without naming me, attacking me, and I didn't even know it happened. It's like, you know, just raging from Mar-a-Lago. Look, here's the reality. Congress, you know, is empowered by the people. Congress decided to have a select committee. Kevin McCarthy decided he wanted to pull all his people, and there were a couple of Republicans that said this is important to get to the bottom of. We have the power, basically equivalent to the court, to get to these answers, and we are dang determined to do that.
Just lastly, someone who is investigating what happened on January 6th, and I think it's really important what you said about, regardless of what happens in the short term, 10 years from now, just for the public record and for history, that does matter, because what the Republican Party is, so many of your fellow Republicans sadly are doing right now is a shame, and it is a stain on the Republican Party, and it will be seen that 10 years from now, if even among those who probably don't see it today.
You are 100% right. We're not talking in 100 years when we're all dead and gone. We're talking when we're not that much older. And that's what's so sad to me, is there are so many people that think, well, somebody's going to come and change this. Somebody's coming. Look, here's the reality. No one is coming except us. And when you have, the 10 of us, for instance, that voted for impeachment, one decides he's not going to run again, Anthony Gonzalez, and people try to put on his shoulders, that he wasn't fighting to defeat Donald Trump. Look, no, it's not on his shoulder. He did his tour in Vietnam. He doesn't have to go back for a second tour. There are 190 other members of Congress that need to do a tour in Vietnam to save this party. And if they don't, I'll keep fighting, but they need to.
Yeah, Congressman Kinzinger, I appreciate it. Thank you.